I have a theory that right now is the time that people are going to be nostalgic about 10 years from now. They'll talk about, St. Louis in 2015 when it was still a budding little city with big dreams. It sort of reminds me of New York in the 70s, where there's an exponential growth about to happen, and people will remember, the days when we just had that glint in our eyes towards the future. And the things that are propelling that to happen are organizations like Arch Grants.
Sort of symbolic or emblematic of what cities are. Cities are formed, people come together to have an exchange of ideas, and that exchange of ideas leads sometimes to innovation, even technological innovation. And that's what Arch Grants is. It's actually trying to manage that process somewhat by encouraging the innovators and providing a home. And that's what is a big source of city growth.
Well, our initial investments were a leap of faith. Since that time, we've been very, very impressed by the quality of the companies and the tech startups that we're bringing to this region. In the process that they go through, the judging process that we've been part of since the beginning.
Monsanto has a long history of supporting the entrepreneurial startup community in St. Louis. So when the opportunity came around to support Arch Grants, it was a natural for us. It's just an extension of what we already value and what we were already committed to.
Well, we think the St. Louis community needs a shot in the arm, and there's no better shot in the arm than to bring new businesses and new tech startups to this community.
Arch Grants has already changed the narrative and put us in the spotlight and helped us shine.
Probably more important to bring new blood, new businesses to the St. Louis community than some of the other things we've done.
I mean, if you're trying to build a startup community that grows an economy on a citywide basis, on a national basis, you need three things. You need really high-level talent, you need density, and you need a kind of product-driven culture, not a plan-driven culture, but a product-driven culture. And Arch Grants drives people towards all those three things. They create density by giving out 20 grants every year, and then continually doing it every year. They bring in really high-level talent because cash speaks, and they bring people from all over the world here to St. Louis. And then they focus you on a product. It's not a business plan competition. It is get a product, get a prototype, start generating revenue, and go.
We analyze product label data to make better sense of the products that you and I buy every day. So the inception of the idea started in Australia. As it expanded, I was the US counterpart. One of my co-founders moved to France, and one was in Australia. Right now, we are headquartered out of St. Louis. Before Arch Grants, I never thought of growing a company, especially a startup, in St. Louis. It didn't resonate with me as this is where you should grow a business.
The unfortunate trend at WashU is that after 4 years, there's a mass exodus and everybody leaves to the coasts. So I stayed for a job and ended up sticking around here for basically to work on Greetable. And once Arch Grants funded us and gave us their support, that was what kind of solidified the decision to stay here. Since then, every year that I'm here, I fall more and more in love with St. Louis. And I've had this unique vantage point because I've been able to compare myself to my friends who are in New York and San Francisco side by side. And those who are trying to start a company, well, the truth is that there aren't many because it's so hard there. There are very few resources for you. People aren't cheering for you the way that they are here. The people who are high up on that totem pole, you're not going to reach them for a really long time. Versus here in St. Louis, especially with the support of Arch Grants, we've been able to catapult our business in a way that another city would never have allowed.
When you give money to Arch Grants, it's pretty much going directly into the companies that they fund or give grants to. And what startups do is we spend that money. It's going straight into the local economy. We're trying to grow our companies and we're trying to grow it here.
The St. Louis community needs this. They need this more than a lot of the other endeavors that we're taking part in. We consider it a civic responsibility to support Arch Grants, just like we do the City Arch River Project, the St. Louis Zoo, all the museums, Forest Park, and so on and so forth. This is a vital part of what we think we need to invest in to enhance the St. Louis brand.
what kind of future would you like for our community? And most people would say, oh, we'd like a great place to live, we'd like plenty of jobs, we'd like a diverse community, we would like talented people. You know, we'd like people to talk about us, they think well of us. Support Arch Grants. That's what I would say. It does all of those things to make our community better.